So, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Two Nerds in a Podcast. Today, we're talking about one of my favorite shows and one that Kacie just started watching, The
The
Boys on Amazon
boys.
Prime.
Yes.
If you have been living under a rock or have ignored the amazingness that is so many Amazon Prime shows, The Boys is basically running alongside the MCU, but kind of backwards, where superheroes are not in it to really save anybody. It's a business. They're in it for themselves. They're in it to be famous. And of course, that causes a lot of crap to go down. And we follow Billy Butcher and Huey. I think his last name's Campbell. I don't remember. We just call him
Huey, yeah.
Huey the whole time. Um, and so we're following them because both of them have had stuff happen to people they love, in particular, deaths of their partners. And so they kind of want to get back at the Soups and take down Vought, which is the ones monetizing all of the superhero stuff. So, Kacie, what made you start watching The Boys?
So I've seen, I kept seeing TikToks with Homelander in it, and
Mm.
there's that audio. If it's, I don't know if anybody is familiar with TikTok, but it's all over TikTok where it's like, Ashley, look at me. So I looked it up to see what it was, and then I saw that it was The Boys, and I had a friend tell me, like, "Oh, you should watch it, like, it's really good. It's about superheroes, like,
Yeah.
modern day society type of thing," and I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a try."
Is
And
that all they told you?
that's literally all they told me. I was
That's
like
it. Oh,
yeah, like, they were like,
no.
"Oh, it's superheroes with, like, corrupted, like, stuff," and, like, that's it. I was like, "Okay, yeah, like, I'll give it a try," and I kept seeing, like, it all over TikTok, so I was like, "Okay." I mean, if people on TikTok like it, I'm sure it's good, right? And,
Yeah.
oh my god, the first episode, I was like, "What? What?" Like, what? And, like, I'm only on episode 5, so I'm, like, halfway through episode 5. I was watching it on my lunch today, actually, and I was like, "There's no way that it can get crazier, right?" Because every episode just gets crazier and crazier and crazier and
Oh,
crazier.
yeah. Yep. And it keeps going.
Yeah.
It just when you think you've gotten to the craziest part or the grossest part or the most outlandish part, the next episode goes, no,
Yeah,
wrong.
that's another thing I wasn't
You're wrong.
expecting
Here you
how,
go.
like, gross and, like, it is. Like, I
Yes.
was telling my coworker about a scene, and she was like, "I'm not watching that," and I was like, "Well, okay, I mean, I like, horror and, like, gore and, like, stuff like that, but, like, when you think
Yeah.
of superheroes, like, again, you think of, like, the Marvel Universe and, like, saving
Yeah, or
people.
like Batman or
Yeah,
yeah.
not what that show is.
Not them accident. I mean, to be fair, most of the time the Soups don't like intentionally murder people, but they also most of the time don't feel bad about it. They're just like, "Oh yeah, my lawyers will take care of it. It's just part of the job and it's just how it goes." And you're just like,
You're like,
no.
"What? What is
No.
going on here?" Yeah, no, that first episode, was crazy, like, when, also, I feel like we should know this, but this episode will have spoilers in it, just a little FYI.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, if you made it
If
this
you
far.
haven't seen it, I mean, it's got 3 seasons already and they're working on season 4, so if you haven't seen it, then you need to catch up, my
Yeah,
friends,
that's what I'm
because
doing.
it's really good. It's not for everybody, but it is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, the first episode is just like, oh, all the superheroes, and you meet Starlight, and it's fun, and you meet Huey, and you're like, "Wow, I love Huey and his girlfriend, they are so cute." And then she
They are very
explodes.
cute.
And
Yep,
and
she gets literally run over by a superhero who's going at the speed of
yeah.
light, and all that's left for Huey. It happens so fast. He's just standing on the sidewalk with her hands in his hands still, but the rest of her is
Yeah.
gone.
And that's where I was like, Oh, okay, so this is the type of show it is, got it, okay. Thank you to
Yes,
whoever
that
suggested
is the
it
kind of
to
show
me
it
that was
is.
like, "Yeah, it's about superheroes and, like, modern day, like, society type of stuff where it's, like, all corrupt and all that." You coulda given me
Yeah,
a little bit more
a
detail.
little warning.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could have just said there's a lot of, blood and cursing and, just drugs, sex. There's a lot
Yeah, it's a
in
lot.
every
It's
episode, so
definitely, like, a not a family-friendly show. So
absolutely not.
don't think it's like, "Oh, fun superhero movie show." Like, it's not, not at
Yeah.
all.
No, and it's funny because, I know, like, I have watched it, and my brother has watched it, and my dad has watched it, but we did not watch it together. We watched it separately. It is not something you really sit down and watch together as a
Yeah, and
family.
that's the thing too. I like to get my dad into shows that I'm watching because, like, I like good shows,
Yeah.
and I was telling him about it, and then I started watching it, and I was like, "Yeah, no, we don't have to watch this show, together. Actually, you can just skip it. I'll watch it."
Yeah, it's not yeah, it's kinda like sitting down and watching the first few seasons of Game of
Yeah.
Thrones with your
Yeah.
parents, where you're like, I don't mind, like, that they watched it and that I watched it,
We
but
don't
I
watch it
don't want to
together.
sit down and watch it with
Yeah.
you. Yeah. That's like you and I could sit down and watch it
Yeah.
together, but, like, I could not no. No.
Yeah, no, it's
Absolutely not.
definitely not, like, one of those shows, unless your family's, like, close like
I
that,
mean,
but I don't know,
yeah.
I think it's a
It
little
depends
weird.
on the family dynamic, but, like, that's just, like, nobody in my life can do that, you know?
Yeah.
But, I'm actually surprised you haven't watched it sooner because, like, I felt like every time there's a new season, that's all I talk about for, like, 3 months straight is just how good the show is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and I
did
haven't
like
really,
your
like,
text.
seen anything about it,
Yeah.
um, like, except for recently on TikTok and, like, anytime I see a TV show that gets super popular, which I don't know how I haven't seen it before, but anytime I see, like, a
Yeah.
TV show that's super popular or, like, blows up on TikTok, like, I get really bad FOMO, which is why I've watched most of the
Yeah.
shows that I've watched because I see people talk about it and I'm like, "Well, now I have to
Or you're
watch
like, "I
it."
wanna
Yeah, I
talk."
need to be a part of this
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah. Or I do the thing where I see really cool
Yeah.
merchandise for a show, like either cool posters or keychains, and I'm like, I really want to buy that, but I'm one of those people I can't buy something if I haven't seen
Yeah.
or listened or read it or like I have to participate and interact with the actual thing before I buy
Yeah.
any merch because otherwise I feel like I'm
Right.
lying.
You're a
I'm not one of
fraud.
those girls who can walk in. Yeah, I can't walk into Target and buy like a band t-shirt. Like I can't buy a K-pop
Yeah.
band t-shirt because I don't listen to that band, even if the shirt is super
Yeah.
cool. So
Like,
I'm
I'm
just
not a
like, nope,
fraud.
I have to listen
Yeah.
first. Yes, I will not be called a liar or a fraud ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but it's pretty crazy. It's a pretty intense show. Like the past few episodes I've been watching, I just my jaw's on the floor. And I'm only on episode 5, which is like crazy. Like I'm just like, I don't
Yeah.
know what more can happen. Like, obviously there's a lot more.
Season 1 is definitely the most intense.
Yeah.
It's not the craziest, but it is the most intense. I feel like season 1 has the most drama happening like at the same time with different
Mhm.
groups. Whereas like season 2 and 3, you kind of focus in a little more on certain people.
Okay.
Um so yeah, season 1 cuz there's a lot happening. Season 1 like all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
There's it doesn't slow
That's
down.
yeah, it's
You're on the crazy
yeah, it just
train. You're
keeps
on the crazy train
going.
for the whole thing.
But I love Billy. He's
Ah,
so funny.
Billy's my favorite.
I love I just love him. He's hilarious.
He's literally the
Yeah.
best. Yes. I did love your text asking if he was the one. Casey and I were talking about, I don't even know how it came
I
up. We
don't
were talking about
either.
John Berthenol the other day. And I told her I need him to stop being the dead brother in TV shows because I want him. The last like TV show he was the star of was The Punisher, and I need him to be in another show like that because I love him. Um, but so we were she texted me and she goes, "Is this the guy that's always the dead brother?" And she's talking about Carl Urban, who plays Billy Butcher. And I said, "No, but that is the guy I met at Comic Con." So he was, my Facebook profile picture was the one of me and him for the longest time with the obnoxious Hawaiian shirt that he had on. But I've actually, because the first year and the only year I've gone to Comic Con, Amazon, like outside the convention center, does like a really big, like whatever their show is for that year, a really big, like outside event. So even if you don't go into Comic Con, you can still participate. And it was on a Friday. Comic Con's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was Friday night, and I was there by myself for the first day. So I was just cruising around, having a good time. And I saw that, and I was one of those crazy people who were standing at the gate because it was the premiere of season 1. And I stood at the gate with all the other crazy people and screamed as the cast walked by out onto their little red carpet that they had there. And so I got to meet most of them because a lot of them like would come by and say hello, but I only got a picture with Carl Urban because I love him. Ever since Lord of the Rings, he was in Star Trek, and he's so cute, and I love him.
Yeah, that's why I was like, "Oh,
Um,
that's why he looks familiar because I saw him on your profile for the longest time." Because I
yep,
was like, "Man, this guy looks familiar." And then I was like, when you text me that, I was like, "Okay, that makes sense."
yeah. You're like, yes, the last hyperfixation
Yeah.
she had.
But yeah, no, that show is it's really good. It's super intense and good, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. I've been trying to like watch as much as possible with the time that I have. So I watch it at work. Like I
Mhm.
watched it today and I came out and I was like, man, dude, this show is a lot. Like for an hour on my lunch break and then I have to come back to work. I'm like, I can't process that all in the time that it
No.
takes me to
Yeah.
watch it and eat and come
Yeah.
back to work. I'm like, I don't even know what I just watched.
Yep. Yep. You're just like, oh my god, I can't believe it. So you're in episode 5.
Yeah, I believe I'm like
So what has happened so far?
so
Because it's been a while since I've seen season
yeah,
1.
so obviously like we said his girlfriend died in the beginning. They're trying
Yep.
to figure out what exactly happened. Um
Hmm.
they find out about comp so like the last so with all the like with the compound V and they're trying to find that.
Mm-hmm.
So like on the
Mm-hmm.
last episode they find out like kind of where it's coming from and then there's that like um that chick that's like locked up in the cage and then they let her out and she goes crazy. Yeah.
Kimiko.
And she goes crazy. So that
Yeah.
just happened. And then let's see. The plane crash, which was like so screwed up. Where the plane was
Yeah.
crashing and they basically couldn't do anything and they were like, bye. Sorry.
Yeah. Homelander just picked up Queen Maeve and went, "Okay,
Yeah. I
bye."
was
And
like,
you're like,
what
"What?"
is happening here? Um, and then yeah.
Homelander is like, he just like, when he's one of those characters between him and Billy, who are like the main two, like you think they can't get any crazier than they already
Yeah.
are, and they just constantly one up each other, and I'm just like, you guys are literally going to explode.
Yeah.
Like ah, they're just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and, like, I feel like well, so far, I don't know, like, obviously, I'm only on season 1, episode 5. How many
Yeah.
episodes are there in each season? Do you know?
There's not that many.
Okay.
No. It's definitely under 10. Let me see. Let me look it up real quick. It's 27 episodes total, so not that many. There's 8. So you're almost at the end of
Oh,
season
okay,
1.
okay, so there's not
You're a
alright,
little over halfway.
gotcha, okay. Yeah, so yeah, so, like, Homelander, like, again, I'm not that far into it, but I just can't tell if I love him or if I hate him yet. 'Cause he's got such a
Yeah.
interesting personality, but he's kind of a dick.
Oh, he's
Like,
100% a
I'm like,
dick.
like,
Eh,
I like your personality, but you're also a dick.
yeah. He's definitely got like the superhero complex where he really thinks he is God's greatest creation to
Yeah,
walk the earth.
definitely.
And you do like throughout the seasons, there are certain points where you like want to feel bad for him because you would feel bad for any other character that goes through what he goes through. But because he's a bit of a
Yeah.
dick, you're like,
You're
you
like,
know
"Mm."
what? I actually don't feel bad for you, and you deserve every single thing that's coming
Yeah.
to you.
So, like, I can't tell if I love him or hate him yet. He's definitely got that, like, "I'm the best" ego, and, like, even when he's, like, out in his,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
little public persona, he's like, "Yeah, I'm just so great, everybody." I'm just like I mean,
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, that happened, and then, let's see, we got, A-Train killed his girlfriend, which was like I was like, "Oh, come on, dude." That was
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, "This is all just so
Yeah.
much."
A Train, I think, is like one of my least favorite
Yeah.
characters because he's just one of those like typical like buttheads that you're like, I really need you and your ego to go away.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I could tell that from, like, the very beginning.
And he just gets
Oh,
worse.
joy.
He gets worse. I mean, they all get worse. They all Nobody gets better.
Oh,
Everybody just gets
good,
crazier.
good.
So there's no light at the end of this tunnel. It literally just descends into
Oh,
insanity.
good.
Um, I am the second you start season 3, I need you to text me when you get about 3 minutes in what you thought of the opening scene.
Okay.
Um, all I'm gonna tell you is the beginning of season 3 when they're at the party. There's drugs involved. That there's a set in that section where you think that it would have been CGI, and it is not
Okay.
CGI. They built a giant practical set for I don't know why.
Uh,
I think somebody just said, we could do it as a practical set, and everybody just went, okay.
sure. Yeah, why not?
And it's it's just like it's my favorite tidbit of behind the scenes. I think that I've taken away from this show is just the fact that that set is practical,
Well, I
like fully practical. And so when you get there, when you get to season 3, you're gonna have to
I'm gonna
text
have
me
to.
and we're gonna have to discuss this again because it's like it's insane. I'm also gonna tell you a very fun fact because you just started watching
Yes.
Supernatural. The creator of Supernatural is also the creator of The Boys.
Oh, that's interesting.
Eric Kripke wrote both
Oh,
of them.
wow, that's pretty
So,
cool.
um, yes, and so in my opinion, that's why the show is so great. Is because
Yeah.
Kripke is just so
Not
good at
biased or
his job.
anything.
Not biased or anything, but he's so good at his job, and I remember when the show was coming out, I saw the original panel, so I got to see Carl Urban with my own two eyeballs. And I remember because the room wasn't very like it wasn't packed like I was expecting it to be, which was a bit weird. But I was just like the second I found out that Eric Kripke was the one writing this show, I'm like, it's gonna be
Yeah.
so
You're
good.
like, "This is
It's gonna.
this is gonna be good."
I didn't think it would be as gross as it
Yeah.
is because The Boys is based on a comic, and I had never read the comics.
Yeah, it's a lot
And
of
then I
it's very
watched
gross.
season 1, and I went, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, it's really
But
good.
it's the
Yeah.
writing. The writing is so good. I mean, like everybody's characters are so flushed out and 3 dimensional, and like you can see the madness coming, but you're like, there's no way. And then they do it, and you're just like, oh my God. I
Yeah, you're
can't
like,
believe it.
"How
Like, I
is this
can't believe you went that
happening?"
far.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like, the writing is really good, and it's just, like, the way that they, like, I don't know what the right integrate in I don't know,
Integrate.
integrate, like, all the characters together, but
Hmm.
separately, and you're like, "Oh, like,
Yeah.
this connects with this, and then they're gonna connect with this, and this." Like, it's all just, like, so well done, at least so far, in my opinion, and it's
Yeah.
just insane. I'm like, "How is this just" it's really good. I mean, honestly, like, I don't think I've watched a show like this good, like, intent to where I'm like, "I have to keep watching it." Like, the ending,
Yeah.
like, is the endings of the episodes are so crazy, and I'm like, "Well, now I have to watch another episode." Like,
Yeah, you can't just leave it there. You
yeah.
can't leave, like, you can't just be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now." No, no. You have to at least start the next episode and then be like, "Okay, I guess I can leave it
Yeah,
there, but I
but
really
I
don't
don't
want
want to.
to."
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, again, I didn't like I was saying earlier, like, I didn't know anything about it, so I did not expect it to be that gory and gross and just a lot, but it's
Yeah.
good, like, it's really it's really good, and every time I watch a show, I try to suggest it to everybody, like my coworker, I'm like, "You should watch this," and she's like, "I'm not gonna do that."
Yeah, it's so funny because I remember because when season one came out, I was so hyped because Carl Urban is one of my celebrity crushes that I've had like for eons. And so when the show was coming out, I was so excited. And I remember my friend, I, she started watching it because had nonstop talked about it for
Yeah.
so long. So her and her husband sat down on the couch and started watching it, and they're watching it, and he turns to her and goes, "Who told you to watch this?" And she was like, "Jamie." And he was like, "Really?" And she goes,
I
"Yes." And I'm just like, apparently I am like the queen of watching stuff that people would never expect me to
Yeah, they're like,
watch.
"How do you watch
Um
this?"
Yeah, because like it happens with The Boys and it happens with Supernatural. Every time I tell somebody I watch those, they're just like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, some of my favorite shows. Those two shows."
Yeah.
And then my other favorite show is something like Psych, which is completely different. Yeah, this show is just absolutely insane. I do love that Billy uses the C word so much.
Yes.
It makes me laugh
Yeah, that clip I
hysterically
sent
every
you
time he
when
says
he's
it.
talking to the guy
Yeah.
at the little, like, Jesus festival, I was dying laughing. I
Yeah.
kept, like, rewinding it because I was just, like, dying laughing. He's just so blunt and so funny, and I'm like, I just love that he's just, like, just so blunt and just does not care.
Yeah, he just doesn't
Yeah.
care. He's just gonna tell you, yeah, how it is and what he's
Yeah.
thinking, and you're just like,
You're
okay.
like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna follow along, because you said so."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's definitely my favorite. I also really like Huey, because like, he's just such a sweetie pie, and he just wants to
I
figure out what was going
know.
on with his girlfriend,
She's just
and
our sweet baby
yeah, and
angel.
he's just
Yeah.
getting roped into all of this. I did like the parts of, like, when they were at the little, like, Jesus festival, and,
Uh-huh.
um like, Billy's talking to him, and he's like, "Alright, you're gonna go meet Ezekiel, and you're gonna blackmail him," and then Huey's like, "A blackmail? I've never done that." And, and Billy's like, "You murdered somebody. I'm pretty sure this is a lot easier than that." And Huey's just standing there like, "Okay, well."
Oh, I know Huey's so
I know, and
innocent.
he's such a little sweetie
He's
pie.
so
Yeah.
innocent. I know, and he just wants to think like the best of the soups and stuff like that, and then his girlfriend gets,
Yeah.
unalived, and he's just, yeah, his descent into madness like is the most warranted. Well, his and Butcher's, but like Huey's descent into madness takes a turn that I wasn't necessarily expecting, but makes complete sense for his
Yeah.
character.
I also like Starlight because she's just kinda like, I mean, so far, again, I don't know much more aside from what I've watched, but, like, she just seems so sweet, like Huey, like, she's just like, "Oh, I wanna be a superhero," and then she comes to, be in the 7, and she's like, "What? This is not what I thought it was." Like, she
Mhm,
just wants to be
mhm.
a little superhero, and they're like, "It's actually just a business, you just gotta look good
Yeah,
for the
she wants to
camera."
actually do like the saving
Yeah.
people and the like. She was like raised as, I think it was a
Yeah.
Christian, I think is how she was raised. But she was raised, in a religious home, and she wants to help the poor and help the people and help save people, and and stuff like that. And then she gets into the superhero business of Vought, and
Mhm.
then she has to deal with
Yeah.
Homelander, which I feel so bad for anybody that has to deal with
Yeah.
Homelander. But she quickly realizes that like that's not what she thought it
Mhm.
was, which I think is a good like perspective into any kind of business that
Yeah.
has to deal with putting people on like a pedestal. So like actors, musicians and stuff like that. You think their world is so glamorous and then you're in it and you go, "Oh, I don't know about that."
Yeah, no, it's
But
definitely, like,
yeah.
a lot of, like, you gotta look good for the camera, don't want bad,
Yeah.
bad
Can
publicity.
have bad
Yeah,
press. Yeah.
which,
Mm-mm.
like, it's definitely like a when they like my friend was telling me about like the whole modern day type of society in that way, like I could see
Mhm.
that with like celebrities and
Oh yeah.
stuff, but I'm like, oh, it's
Mhm.
superheroes, but like they really are just like these glorified, just super abled celebrities, like that just have a lot of
Yeah.
superpowers and are very bad.
Mhm.
Not They're
Yeah.
naughty.
And they want to get paid to do
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, they want to get paid to use those powers for quote unquote the greater good. More like the greater good of
Yeah.
themselves, but not necessarily society.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Especially like with like I feel like so far, I feel like Homelander and A-Train are the biggest like dickheads.
Oh
I'm just
yeah,
like,
for
yeah,
sure.
you definitely have that like superhero celebrity, I'm better than you ego.
But like yeah, they have that machismo that they walk around with and you're just like, shut up, go
Yeah.
away.
Like I am
Um
the 7. Like
yeah. And you're like, it's called the Seven because there's seven of you, not because it's just like your group. But okay, the guy who plays Homelander though, Anthony Starr, honestly, he's so stellar because I've seen him in interviews, and he is, thank goodness, nothing
Yeah.
like Homelander. But
He's a great actor.
he's superb because like he just like his eyes he just like because there's a bunch of actors out there that have beautiful blue eyes, like Chris Pine always comes to mind. There's just like Jolly Rancher
Yeah.
blue,
Oh, his eyes are
but like
beautiful.
I know, but Anthony Stars, like he just gets this like look on his face that makes him seem like he's just dead behind the
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing good going behind. There's no real kindness. Like when he smiles, he still looks dead behind the
Yeah.
eyes.
It's
And I'm
it's
just like,
crazy.
wow, it's so creepy. And I'm just like props to you, Anthony, because like amazing. Like hats off to you, sir.
Yeah. No, he's
Um
like that was the only thing I've actually ever seen like again on TikTok was him with that audio,
mhm.
and so I go down the rabbit hole of like looking at it, and I'm like, okay, so he kind of is like the main face of the show, from what I perceive so
Yeah.
far. Like he's like
Mhm.
the soup, and then there's the
Yeah.
rest of them that are all just kind of equally as corrupt, but I
Yeah.
kept seeing him and I'm like, okay, all right, I'll watch it. Gosh, I will
Yeah.
watch it. And it was nothing like I
I love
expected.
that TikTok made you do
Yeah,
it.
TikTok makes me do
Yeah.
everything. And so like with every show, it's mostly because of TikTok. And so I'm like, okay, I'll cave. And then yeah, so I'm hoping to get further along this weekend because I just like I stopped like halfway through episode 5 on my lunch, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I need to I need to figure out time when I can watch this because it's so crazy. And I like my manager at my work, she's watched through season 1, I think, and I'm like, I need
Yeah.
to like talk to somebody about it because holy moly. Like I feel like I need to
Yeah.
debrief after each episode because I'm like, my eyes, like I
Exactly.
don't know
Yeah.
what I just watched. I'm like, I need someone to
Your
debrief
brain is
with.
like, okay, we have the information, but it needs to go somewhere because it can't
Yeah,
stay
I'm like,
here because we don't know
I
what to
need to
do
get
with
this
it.
out I'm gonna need to like word vomit this out because what like just what
What actually just
yeah, so I'm
happened?
like
Yeah.
I have to talk to somebody about it, like it's like a therapy session. I'm like, what did I just watch? But like it's so good I can't
Yeah.
stop watching it.
Yeah. And I love that each season is short. I think if they were longer, it would get very convoluted and
Yeah.
confusing. But like the fact that they get straight to the point every time, there's not really like, ooh, we're gonna allude to something in the future because like the future is in like 2 minutes and then bam, you're smacked with it. And you're just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. It's definitely a wild ride, and I like that you kind of get I like shows that like Game of Thrones where you get like a little
Hmm.
bit of each character, but they all are kind of like lining up to be in the same like plot, where they kind of like
Yeah.
mix. So there's like, you know, this group and this group and this group, but they're all kind of like mixing in with each other. Like I really like shows like that, where it's like
Yeah.
you get a little
It's
bit,
very
yeah, it's
intertwined
very
with each
intertwined,
other.
and you get like each different like group in the episode. So like in like The
Hmm.
Walking Dead, towards like the end of this towards the end of when I watched it, they
Yeah.
would do like specific character episodes and I'd be like, God, I'm so bored of this. But I
Yeah.
really like that it kind of keeps you up to where you're like involved with each little group that they have,
Yeah.
and you can see them start to like intertwine with each other, which I it's just it's really good.
Let's see. Who else? Oh, what do you think of the Deep? He's so creepy.
He is very creepy.
He's so creepy.
I mean, the first interaction we get with him is awful. I
Yeah.
mean, with him and Starlight,
Yeah.
you're like, "All right, well, you're also a dick,
Yep.
and you're a creepy dick."
And creep. Yep. We will be staying far
um,
away from you.
yeah, like you kind of get that impression. You're like, "Oh, cool. Like he's cool. He's like showing her around." Okay,
Nope.
well,
Mm-mm.
nope. I actually just watched the part with, like, the dolphin in the van, and I was like, I can't. My brain is, like, frying at the moment." Like, I didn't even know what I just watched. Like, I'm like, I like, I was telling my coworker about it today, and I was like, it was just, like, all of a sudden, and then it just abruptly ended like that, and I was like, I literally can't wrap my brain around it.
Oh my god. I forgot about the dolphin.
Yeah, I'm like,
He's
"I
because
need to
he's trying
tell
to
somebody
rescue
about
it,
this."
right? He was trying to like set
Yeah.
her free and it just doesn't make it.
Yeah, I'm like, "I don't
Oh.
know what is happening here."
Oh my gosh.
Um
And the thing about the Deep is like he is innocent in a way like Huey is, but like
Mhm.
he's like innocent in all the wrong ways, like to where it's not endearing. You're
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, sweetie, bless your heart,"
Yeah.
Like it's just you're like, "Oh man, I don't know how you've survived this long. I don't know how you've made it to adulthood." Like,
Yeah, yeah, he's a very interesting character. I mean, they're all very interesting, but, like, him and like, just the again, like, the first interaction you get with him and Starlight, you're like, "Okay, well, I guess this is how I'm gonna perceive you,
yep.
like a
Mhm.
creep."
Yeah.
Same with like I mean, not as much with Translucent, but Translucent was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Creeper.
was yeah, he was very creepy, and that and then when he died, I was like, man, this is all just
Did you
a
love
lot.
the funeral? The funeral for
Yeah.
Translucent? I was just like, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
it's very interesting. All of the soups they are just interesting. I don't even know, like, there's just so many words to describe them, but I'm like, it's so interesting,
I also
and
love that they all basically live together. Like they all live
yeah,
in Vought Tower. And I'm just like,
yeah,
who thought like it was a good idea for all of these soups to live under the same roof? Like, it's one
Yeah,
thing that
yeah, it's
they're
definitely
working together, but, like, under the same like, I mean, because it's not, like Marvel where they're all living on Avengers campus kind of thing. It's like, I mean, like
right.
these guys just they're not in it for the saving of the world. They're in it for the money. And so you're just
Yeah.
like there's so much corruption happening. So much corruption.
Yeah.
It's actually insane.
Well, and then, like, with the airplane that they
Mhm.
were just like, "Bye," and then, Homelander's like, "Man, we were just a few minutes too late, like, if we were just a
Yeah.
few minutes sooner, we could have saved them," and I'm like, "Man, that is brutal, that's so
Yeah.
brutal," like, a plane full of people, a child was like, "Please save me," and you were just like, Gotta go, bye."
Yeah, gotta go to the meeting that we need to have by and then
Yeah, and then to be like, "Oh, man, if we were just a few minutes sooner," and I'm like, "What is happening?"
yeah, Homelander, like sometimes it feels like he's like two different people because you see
Yeah.
him doing stuff like that where he's just like, what could I do? Like I couldn't do anything. And it's like you actually have the power to do something. But then like he
Yeah.
turns around and the way he addresses the public, like I mean, superhero complex,
Yeah.
I'm, the greatest gift you have ever received. And
Right, I could
if
do
I'm
no wrong.
I can do no wrong, and if I'm telling you I couldn't make it, then literally nobody else could have done it, and I'm just like,
Right.
"Oh my gosh."
Yeah, it's a lot. It's very I mean, it's super good. Like I'm really excited to see how it progresses and like how all the plots kind of tie together because I'm kind of at the point where they're starting to like line up with each other and you're kind of being like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this one and with this and this." So, I'm very interested to see how it progresses
Yeah.
and maybe we'll do like an updated episode once I get through season 1 and into season 2, but I was just
Yes.
like, I need to talk about this. I need to debrief
Yeah.
because it's a lot. It's
Yeah,
it's really good. It's
it's so good.
yeah.
I also
But
really
yeah.
love Frenchie. Frenchie is
Yeah.
like he's just like when like you have like the sweetest like toddler you can imagine who just like
Yes.
brings you rocks from outside and
Yeah.
brings you things and you're just like, "Oh, thank you so much, sweetie. You're so good. I love you." That's Frenchie. Like
Yeah.
if I was in this universe, Frenchie would be that for me. Like I'd just be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Go play with your toys now so the adults can talk." Like
Right.
but
Yeah,
even
and
though
he's
like
yeah.
in later seasons, you find out like some of the stuff he was involved in, and you're just like, Frenchie, oh my god. But like
Yeah.
he's just like one of the sweetest beans. Sweet
Yeah,
bean.
and you like
So
he's
cute.
always trying to like do just like sweet thing like when he found what did you say her name was? The one in the
Kimiko.
cage?
Kimiko.
Yeah. He's like, "This girl is locked in a cage, like, I need to let her out."
Yeah.
Cause what? Why is she locked in a cage?" And they're like, "No, no, no, that's not what we're here for." And he's like, I'm gonna let her out."
Yep.
And then they got, into more of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's like they're like, "Yeah, when you find her, gas her and we're gonna take her back." And then he's like trying to sweet talk her. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, you're so sweet, but
Yeah.
you're also just screwing everything
Yeah.
up."
It's like you're so sweet,
He's
Frenchie, but
trying
you're
so
also
hard.
so dumb. Get out of the way so I can
Yeah.
do this.
Right. We have a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
but yeah, he's honestly all of the there's not like a bad character. Like
No,
there's, dickhead characters, but there's
obviously.
not like a bad character so far. Like they're
Yeah.
all like so unique and good in their own ways. Like
And the way they
I
interact with each other is just like
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I think it's really good. But yeah, Billy is definitely my favorite so
I
far.
love
And
Billy.
Billy and Huey I think are my favorites because it's just
Yeah.
like you have Billy who's just like blunt and doesn't care, and then Huey's just like this is a sweet little baby, and he's just trying his
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. Um yeah, Billy's definitely my favorite throughout all 3 seasons. Huey, I think it's season 3. Cuz like I said, they all descend into madness and Huey's descent makes sense, but I don't necessarily like where he ends up.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, and it's just because I mean, he starts out innocent and sweet being, and obviously that goes away. And so what you're left with, you're like, "Oh, Huey, no. No, baby,
Yeah.
no. You can't do that, sweetie pie." Um, but it's very warranted,
Yeah.
and it makes sense because he's living in Billy's world. Billy, drags
Mhm.
him in, even though
Yeah.
Billy all the time is like, "You shouldn't be involved." But then, like the second Huey goes, "Okay, well maybe I won't be involved," Billy's like, "Nah, just kidding. Get over here." And
Yeah,
I'm
Billy's
like,
like,
"Billy,
actually, you're not doing that."
yeah." Or he comes in and he goes, "I need your help," and I'm like, "What happened to keeping Huey out of the mess?"
Yeah.
Apparently, it goes
He's
out
like,
the door very
No."
quickly. Yes. He's like,
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
need the kid." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. But I am interested to see, like, how it all kind of unravels, especially, like, since it basically just started with, like, Huey's girlfriend exploding,
Yeah.
and now it's just, like, all of this, like, corrupt madness, so I'm really interested to see how it kind of, like, unveils itself throughout the
Yeah.
seasons,
Have you found out about Butcher's past, or well, kind of recent-ish past about his wife?
I so the episode that is either the last episode or this episode, they talk
Mhm.
about, her headstone
Okay.
and there's how she's missing,
Mhm.
and it's been 8 years, and that's all I know so far about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, he went to her sister's house,
Mhm.
his wife's sister's house, and, he found that out, so that is, like, pretty much all I know about it.
Okay. But you know that
Yeah.
she's quote unquote dead. You haven't found out
Yes.
whether she's actually dead or not yet. Um,
Yes, yeah.
because yeah, that's the one thing I like about his madness is because he firmly believes she is not dead. Like
Yeah,
he is like, she is absolutely not dead. Something happened, and everybody around him is trying to gaslight him and going, "Nope, she died. She was,
yeah,
she went missing, and the statistics, say that she's probably dead." And he's like, "She is definitely not dead. You guys did, because she worked for Vought. I don't know if you found that out yet. She used to work for Vought, so that's why he thinks there's something suspicious about her death." Um,
okay, well, that makes sense, I
yeah.
mean, that place is a little cuckoo.
And she, if I remember correctly, was kind of like higher on the food chain. So I don't know. I don't think it ever tells you whether she was like in any of the like corrupt mess or not. I don't think she
Mhm.
was, but like you could definitely tell that she was a casualty of that corruptness.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and so yeah, it's just oof.
It's a lot.
Oof.
It
Yeah.
is a lot. I know I keep saying that, but it is. It's really a lot, like, I'm just like, there's so much happening, and there's so many plot twists, and once you think you're like, "Okay, we're getting some resolution with this," and
Yeah, and
then
then
something happened, like, when they were finding out, like, about the compound V, you're like, "Okay, alright, we're getting somewhere, we're getting answers to this, we're getting figured it out," and
mhm.
then there's a woman in a cage, and she's crazy, and she's
Yep.
missing, and she's on the loose.
Yep.
Okay, well, we have another problem now that we have to take care of.
Yeah.
So it's just like keeps getting crazier and crazier. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
like, how much? I don't. What? How much more crazy can we get? Like, you have like crazy, crazier, catastrophic. Then
Mhm.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, just nuclear explosion is what is next.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and again, it's one of those shows where you think they can't, like, top what they've previously done, and then they throw a monkey wrench into everything, and you're just like, "Oh my god, I didn't think you or the situation could be worse, and you are."
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Now
absolutely insane.
yeah, you're like, my brain is gonna explode from this. But
Yes.
yeah, maybe we'll do like an updated once I get through season 1 and into season 2, so I can talk about how crazy it is, because
Yes.
yeah, I've
And
just
then
been
I will
wanting
have
to
to give it
watch
a
it.
rewatch so that I know where you're at. It's
Yeah.
been a while since I rewatched it, but I am going to give you a small spoiler because you will appreciate this said spoiler. Jensen
Okay.
Ackles, who plays Dean Winchester in Supernatural, is in season 3.
Oh my god, I'm so
Yes.
excited.
Yes, so you get to see him. He's still as hot as ever, but he's got a
Now I
full
gotta get to
beard.
season 3.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
like full beard, longer hair. Like he doesn't look like Dean Winchester, so you have that to look forward to.
Yeah, now I gotta power through and get to
Yeah,
season 3.
and it's so funny because that was like for season 3, that was the one thing they like. they really hyped up was that Jensen was going to be in this, and I'm like, yeah, he is not
You're like,
in
yeah.
like half the season, and I'm like, sir, you promised me Jensen Ackles, and you didn't deliver all of the Jensen that
Yeah.
I needed.
You're like, I needed all of it, please.
Yes, because this, I think season 3 came out not too long after Supernatural ended. So
Mm.
I was like, I need Jensen in a
I need
show
my fix,
now.
please. Give it to me.
Give it to me.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to watch it. So, yeah, that is what that is that.
But yes, we when you get through we'll just do season by season basically. So this will be
Yeah,
season
we'll
1,
just do
and then we'll
yeah.
get together when we both power through season 2. And
Yes.
then season 3, I might have you start it while we're recording our podcast just to get
Okay.
your live reaction.
Just to get
Because
Honestly, that's a good idea. Yeah.
I need to know the
We need the
second
people
you
to
get
know.
through that scene, because like it's just absolutely insane. Because when I think it was by season 3, a lot of streaming channels started doing we'll release one episode a week, and I'm like, thanks for being annoying. I really just wanted to binge
Yeah.
the whole
I
thing.
just need to
So
watch it all. Yeah.
they did that with the first 3 episodes. So we got the first episode of season 3, and then right after that is when they released this tidbit of behind the scenes knowledge that I have and love, and that my friend Diego and I bring up anytime we talk about the boys, because we still just can't believe it's true. Um, and so
Man, now I got to
um,
get to the season 3.
you do. And so Twitter, because Eric Kripke, at least he was a big um, tweeter, and he released, like, as soon as episode 1 premiered, he released behind the scenes a lot of the cast did behind the scenes photos and stuff, and I'm just like, wow, wow. Just, I mean, there's no words. That's why I need to like hear your reaction in live time,
Yeah.
because
Live and in person.
there's no preparation and no warning, no nothing. It's just, and it will be something that just lives in your mind forever.
Oh, now I got to power through it.
Yes. So, you have that to look forward to, and I am so excited for you to have this knowledge,
Yeah.
because every time we talk about the show, we will bring it up and we'll go, "Oh my god,
we
I can't believe they did that."
Yeah, I'm excited now. I can't wait.
Shall we end this episode there?
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good so far in what I'm watching on it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited that you started The Boys. Again, it's one of my
I am
favorite
too.
shows, so
Yeah.
highly disturbing, highly scarring, but so good.
But really
It's
good. Yes.
like everything just comes together so nice. The costume, the CGI, the writing, the actor is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just like they push the envelope on being crazy and creepy, but also like it just feels very real, just like super real.
Yes.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
if we had superheroes, it would literally be like that. Like
Yeah.
it would just be absolutely insane. Is that your cat in the background?
Yes, I'm sorry. She's upset. It's she gets mad and she screams. I'm sorry. She wants to be a part of the podcast.
Yes, which she will always be our guest star.
Yes.
So we're gonna leave that episode here. Let us know. I found out I could put polls, or I think questions on our podcast. So I'll put a question down there. Tell us what your favorite season of The Boys was. Tell us who your favorite character is, or your least favorite character, because I
Yes.
feel like both say a lot about a person. But
Mhm.
um, so yeah, don't forget to do all the podcasty things, to follow us on Spotify. Um, Make sure to
Yes, and
tell.
also if you're enjoying the podcast, make sure to leave a 5-star rating because that helps us out as well.
Ooh, I didn't know we could do that. So yeah, make sure to do that.
Yeah.
Um, But don't forget to tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dog. You can
Tell your
follow us.
cat.
Yeah, tell your cat, because we always have a cat guest star on ours. Um, she loves it here. You can follow us over on Instagram. And Casey, I believe you made a TikTok.
Yes, I just made a TikTok, just recently. It is a little different than our Instagram, so it's just 2 nerds in a podcast, all one word.
Nice. So you
Yes.
can follow us there. And we will see you guys in the next episode. So, bye.
Bye.